Welcome to another episode of Cook with the Wing King. Me, your host, Olu Babalola. And so what we're going to do this new thing, right? Remember the first episode when we cooked the wings, I said get comfortable. So I told you I like to cook, relax with a glass of wine. Alright, so we're going to feature a wine. I'm not going to say every episode because I'm going to make it look like some sort of an alcoholic. But as much as I can, I'm going to feature a wine. And this wine here, I've never seen it before, so I had to pick it up. It's Barefoot, which I have drank before, but I've never seen this specific one. It's called Jammy Red. It's made in California. And the most intriguing aspect of this wine is it says enjoy chilled. I don't know if you can see it. I've always thought red wine cold is better, but you can't do that. People say you don't know what you're doing, people freak out. But this says enjoy chilled, so you're allowed to put this in the fridge and nobody can judge you, alright? So this is the one we're drinking today. Thanks for watching the videos in there, and please like and subscribe. Share the videos. Let's get everybody watching this. Today's episode is going to be good. I'm going to give away a whole bunch of secrets and different little tips you can do to make your cooking, I won't say superior, but just a little bit different to what you're normally used to, alright? So what we're doing today, chicken strips, and then we're going to make a buffalo wrap out of the strips. So the chicken strips, once we cook them, they're cooked and they're ready to go, and if you want them like that, that's fine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put that in a wrap, because one of the best sellers that I do is the buffalo chicken strip wrap, right? And it also comes with coleslaw, which you guys keep asking me. You know, these games were fun, but now the fun's over. It's time to go to work.
In there, relax ball below and finish at the rim.
To get the ball inside. Moments ago, that good penetration, finding that open jumper for the three, but they've got to keep Ford out of it.
My name is Olu Babalola, former professional basketball player, now cooking buffalo wing-based chicken wings. Chicken wings. So now we'll do the blue cheese. So today we're going to go through that, and you're going to see how that's made and what I put in it, because it's very, very simple. And if you watched last week's episode with the sauces, then you'll see that it's pretty much the ranch sauce with a bunch of different veg. Alright? So, here we go. We got a chicken breast. I don't use, I like to use the whole breast. I like to cut it myself for the strips, for the simple fact that I don't like all the strips to be the same size. I don't like the whole uniform thing. I like it to be different. Obviously roughly the same size, but I don't know, I just like, for me it's a bit more rustic, and it's a bit more just realistic, as in, okay, somebody's cooked this like homemade, as opposed to some sort of like factory that's cut everything, sharp and on key. So this is the whole breast right here. One whole breast is a big one, and we've got the fillet as well in there. So you always want to take the fillet off, and you've got one strip right there, right? Now, because this breast is big, you could definitely cut it across this way so that it's half the size, right? Because if it's too thick, especially the top, right, then it's going to cook unevenly. So the bottom, once it's cooked, the top one might not be cooked. And obviously you're messing with chicken, you need to make sure it's fully cooked. So cut it in half, like a book, right? Go through it and open it up, right? So then once you've done that, cut the top piece off. The top piece is usually it's a bit thinner than the bottom piece, and that's fine. So once you've done that, you want to cut that. So now you've got two strips there, plus the fillet piece here, so that's three. And then this one, you probably get another 3 strips out of this, right? So one cut there, then cut this piece in the middle. So now there's 6 strips there. So this is enough for one person for sure, probably 2. For the wraps, you want a minimum of 2 chicken strips in each wrap. So This is good for 2 wraps minimum, so maybe 3. If you stuff the wrap with other things like the coleslaw, which we're going to talk about, cheese, all sorts, whatever, then you should be good. But let's just say for this recipe here, we're going to we'll cook all the chicken, but for the wrap, we'll just put to it. So once you've cut the chicken up, the next thing you want to do, leave it in buttermilk overnight. Now, with the chicken wings, we don't need that in buttermilk. We never need to put chicken wings in buttermilk. I don't understand people that do that. If you're baking your chicken wings, you're not frying them, then I can understand that a bit more, makes a bit more sense. But it's not necessary, because the way wings are eaten, you know, it's not like a tender kind of a thing. Whereas strips, any other part of the chicken, strips, whatever you're doing, chicken legs, whatever, that's what you want to tenderize more. So with the strips, it will definitely be beneficial if you soak it in buttermilk overnight. Yeah, so put these in buttermilk before you go to bed so that they can be cooked the next day, whether it's for lunch or dinner. Now, here in the UK, it's hard to find buttermilk. In America, you guys sell it by the gallon, I've seen it. Over here, it's a lot smaller portions and it's expensive. So it's way better to make your own buttermilk just at the house by yourself. And to make your own buttermilk, it's simply 1 cup of full fat milk, and you want about a tablespoon of lemon. And a tablespoon of lemon, you get that from about a lemon. So a cup of milk, 1 lemon. You've made the buttermilk. So you will pour the milk into the cup measurer. Alright, pour it into the container that you're going to put the buttermilk in the chicken. Cut your lemon, squeeze it in. We're not fussed about the seeds because we won't be using them anyway, right? And once you do that, you will see everything start to curdle. Oh! You'll see it start to curdle and separate, and that's a good thing. Once the buttermilk is made, season it. Now remember what you said with the wings, you don't want to use seasoning salt, right? You want to put the herbs and the veg in there. So we'll put the chicken in. Now, the veg we're going to use is just red onion and a little bit of garlic. Alright, now with this, it doesn't matter how you cut it, because obviously you're not going to be eating it anyway. It's just to season the buttermilk out of the skin on. It's no big deal. Chop it all up, throw it in. So we put the red onion in, and we're going to put the garlic in. And guess what I brought today? A fancy garlic press.
That's fancy.
I love this thing. It's got different settings. You can crush it small, crush it bigger, or you can slice it, right? I'm not gonna lie, I'm very intrigued. I was happy when I bought this. And I was really upset when I lost it when I didn't bring it last week. And we filmed this, and I drove home, and I was so annoyed at myself. But then I thought, you know what? It's gonna make sure that it's gonna remind me to bring it next week anyway, so it's not bad. So yeah. A clove or garlic is fine. You can put 2 in if you want, but for me it's just 1. It's more than enough. Alright, put it in, get it all in there. And then put the lid on, which I've got. And that's it. Mix it up a bit. And then you can put that in the fridge and leave it in there overnight. Alright? Okay, while the chicken's in the buttermilk, we'll make the coleslaw, alright? So the coleslaw, as I said before, I call it ranch coleslaw, my one, because it's pretty much the ranch sauce, which we made on the last episode. So if you want to know how to make that, just go to the sauces episode of Cook with the Winking, alright? So all you need, 1 white cabbage. If you get a big white cabbage, this is a medium sized one, but if you get a big one or a medium one, you need 2 carrots, and you always need 1 onion, 1 red onion. Definitely go with red. You will learn with me, I'm a huge fan of red onions. If you're in America, you can get hold of Vidalia onions, if you're lucky enough for that. then always go with that as the #1 option. If not, red onion will do. All right. Cut the cabbage in half, then take out the middle part. Obviously not good for you, it's too thick. Cut that out, and it's simple. If you've got, I try and show you how to do things with a knife as opposed to a processor. If you have one, use it, that's fine. I've got one, don't know how to use that part. I only know how to use the basic spin part, but there's a thing at the top and you can put this other blade in it and then it's all fancy and you put it, it's too much for me. I'd rather use a knife. So just cut the center out and then just slice it out. Okay? Take your time. Make sure you keep your fingers out. So for a whole, as we said, a whole cabbage, make sure you got 1 onion, and again, if it's a middle-sized cabbage or a large cabbage, 2 carrots, all right? Just have a look at it, and you can add other things to it too. Some people like red cabbage. I'm not a fan myself, but you could definitely throw some red cabbage in. But if you're gonna do that, then obviously pay attention to the amount of onion and carrots you put in. So if you're gonna throw, you could do half-half. So obviously, as in half of regular cabbage and half red cabbage, keep everything else the same. Or you could do a whole white cabbage and half of red cabbage, and I'll probably throw in 3 carrots, another half of red onion. Just once it's all in, just have a look at it and just make sure that everything's equal, because what you don't want is a whole ton of cabbage, not enough carrot. And the carrot you can get away with missing, not having enough in, but red onion you definitely don't want to miss that, alright? Because the red onion, you get a lot of flavour from that. Alright, once the cabbage is all cut up, throw it in the container, and then you want to do the red onion next. And in the cooking world they call it half moons. So cut it in half, get the skin off, and make sure you get it all off, alright? Red onion, sometimes the skin, it goes through a few layers. So when you think that you've got all the skin part off, go another layer, just to make sure, because you don't want to serve people with onion with the skin and stuff, alright? So they call it half moons, because I guess obviously that's the shape of.
Wow.
Alright, so you cut it in half, lay it down flat, and just cut it as thin as you can. Again, if you have a food processor, you can use that. I'm not fancy enough to know how to use mine, so I just go with the half moon with the knife. Alright, so the thing, right, today's Saturday. If I'm a bit discombobulated or I seem a bit off, this morning when I woke up and I picked my phone up. This is going to be a quick story. I woke up and I picked my phone up and I went to Instagram, and the first thing I seen was a picture of this Chad Boseman guy, alright? So this year is so crazy, 2020, that I'm just on the edge, alright? So I picked my phone up, seen a picture of him, and the first thing I instantly thought was, oh my God, what's happening? Right? And that's because of how crazy this year's been. And sure enough, he passed away from some sort of cancer, which he had been dealing with for 4 years. He was diagnosed 4 years ago with, I believe, colon cancer. Yeah? So all those times we were seeing him on TV and all of the movies and stuff and all the interviews, he was dealing with this colon cancer, but was still doing so much. Right? So if nothing else from that, I think that I told you guys when I first started this that the reason why I'm doing this is because of the pandemic, I'm starting to learn that life is short and there's tons we gotta do, yeah? So you don't wanna live with regret. If you feel like you might want to do something, providing it's a good thing, just go ahead and give it a shot. I felt like I kinda wanted to do a YouTube channel, and that's the reason why I'm doing this now, alright? So, if nothing else, let that be a lesson to everybody. Like, rest in peace to that man. But like, learn from that. Yeah, he was sick and ill and doing so much still. So that's what we all gotta do, because again, we don't know how long we have on this earth. All right. You wanna hear another quick story? I'm not gonna lie to you. I've not seen Black Panther. Judge me. Okay. I'm a Nigerian guy, so I don't feel the need to have to watch it. I'm fine not watching it. The reason why I haven't watched it though was because when the movie came out, I was playing basketball in Italy, right? So I remember all my friends in America and in England, they was talking about the Black Panther movie. Oh, you gotta go see it, you gotta go see it. But I know in Italy, it was gonna be in Italian, and I just didn't want to watch it in the Italian language. No disrespect, but I knew that they wasn't gonna put the original version out. When I first played in Italy many years ago, I remember I went to practice. And I came back from practice and I was walking into my house, the TV was on, and I could see Fresh Prince was on the screen, right? And I was so excited because there was just, for me, it was just an escape back to what I was normally used to. In Italy, especially if you're in a small town, it's very rural and you have to adapt to their way of life. So seeing Fresh Prince from outside my house on the TV screen, it excited me. Ran in, opened the door, unlocked it, turned the volume up, and Will Smith was talking Italian. And it threw me off. So I was just like, not for me. So when Black Panther came out, I was just like, don't want to watch it. But everybody was like, just give it a shot, give it a shot, give it a shot. So I said, okay. So I went on the internet to look for the trailer and he was talking Italian. Panther, Nero, no, I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it in the language that it was made in. So no disrespect or anything, it was just for me, I wasn't watching Black Panther speak in the Italian language. So I left it. So that's why I've not seen it. I came back, obviously I've came back and I was just busy and stuff, so I've left the movie alone. But rest in peace to him and good luck to his family in that. And I think he left a good legacy. If you go on Instagram, you can see a whole ton of different things that he said. His Howard, he did a speech at Howard, which was really inspiring. And just like, he seemed like a cool guy, funny guy. I remember him at the NBA All-Star game, watching that, and him passing the mask to the dunk contest to the guy. I don't know, man, it's just sad, it's really sad. And this year's been kind of like that. So I think this is try and keep our good spirits up, one, and two, don't be afraid to do anything. If you're not sure if you want to do something, you're on edge, providing it's a positive thing, just knock it up. You know, just do it if you can, and just see what happens with it. All right? That's my story. Okay. So in here, cabbage, red onion, and now we'll go with carrots. And you want to grate the carrot in on the big part of your box grater. All right? So grate them in. Some people like to. Some people grate the carrot into like a muslin square, whatever, and squeeze it out. But I don't think that's necessary, especially if you're only making a small amount. If it's only for the week, 4 to 5 days, it's not necessary. But if you're making a huge ton amount, then maybe. But cooking in the household for family and friends and kids, I don't find it necessary. Right? So this is the easiest coleslaw you'll ever see, because the other coleslaws, you gotta put all these different ingredients together. If you've already made a ranch sauce, which again was in the last episode, that's all you need, all right? So remember we said because this is a medium-sized cabbage, medium to large, you want 2 carrots, all right? So this is the second carrot going in. And then once it's all cut, grated down, you don't have to salt it. Some people say put the salt on the veg and let it drain all the moisture out. I used to do that when I had more time. I used to do this, throw a whole bunch of salt in and leave it overnight. The next day, drain it. And I learned that that's not necessary. You don't need to do that, all right? So once it's all cut up and chopped, this is the ranch we made in the last episode. So you just want to get in about 1.5 cups. So we've got a medium-sized cabbage, 2 carrots, 1 red onion. Let's take this off. Of 1.5 cups. Just mix that all in. The reason why I don't give you the exact measurement, the ranch, is because I don't know how big or small the cabbage is. All right. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's not too sloppy and not too wet. If you're serving it straight away, then you can put more ranch in. But if you're not serving it as quick, then if it's like an overnight thing where you've done it the night before, then you can just make sure that it's still pretty dry, because when you wake up in the morning, it's gonna break down. You should be good to go from there, all right? So remember, this is the coleslaw that's gonna go into the chicken wrap, all right? Okay, so put the oil on, bring it to temperature, and then once that's hot and ready to go, grab your chicken, take it out the buttermilk. Now remember, this is when we season the chicken with the seasoning salt of your choice. Obviously, again, you can use mine, but you can get off the website, wingking.co.uk. This is another good one, aromat. This is good for chicken breast specifically. If it was dark meat, I wouldn't even show you this. I'll just say go with this. But if you don't want to use this, you can grab one of these from most grocery stores, and it's really good with the strips, all right? Chickens in the buttermilk, preferably overnight. If not, couple hours, at minimum a couple hours for sure. It will tenderize the chicken, and you'll definitely taste the difference and feel the difference. The texture will be completely different, and especially if you're serving for other people, they'll appreciate that, right? That's something that I do for all the chicken strips that I sell. So when I do this, sometimes I use a bit of that. I always use this, but sometimes if I'm trying to be extra, I use a bit of both. They both have a fair bit of salt in, so you don't want to do too much, all right? So season it well, get it all mixed in. And remember the flour, egg, and breadcrumb thing, the whole February thing that we spoke about on the chicken balls episode, yes. So get that fully submerged. That's just self-raising flour. Make sure you use self-raising flour because it gives it more of a crisp than plain flour. You don't have to do extra and go with corn flour. You can do some chicken wing flavors with corn flour, but you don't want to go with the strips with the corn flour because you've got the panko. So doing corn flour, it's going to make it super crispy. Panko, it's just too much. It's too crispy. You don't need all that. When it's crispy like that, for me, it's not enjoyable. You definitely want the contrast of the crispy batter and the tender chicken from the buttermilk is good, but the corn flour makes it far, far too crispy to the point where you won't even really get to the tenderness of the meat from the buttermilk. All right. So just mix that all in. Flour's in, eggs in now. Now you want to throw it in the seasoned panko, and by season I just mean herbs. So whatever herbs it is you like. Me here, I've got, because we're going to use ranch from the coleslaw, I've got the same herbs that we throw in the ranch sauce in the herbs. So that's chives, dill, and parsley. So you can throw that in your panko. You can also add things to it, whatever it is you like. Some people might like rosemary. If I was to add anything else, me personally, I would suggest sage. Sage with chicken is really good. Two best herbs for chicken, for me, is sage and thyme, for sure. All right, that's all you need. And once the chicken is fully coated in the herbs, like so, throw it in the fryer. Make sure you do them one at a time. And then like the wings, don't mess them around. Don't move them, just leave them. Let them cook. If you start to shake them around and move them too much, you won't get a good thick coating on the chicken. And these should take about 6 to 8 minutes. Alright, once they're nice and golden on the outside and fully cooked on the inside, take one out, give it a little cut, have a look. I'll show you how to do that. And once it's fully cooked, white all the way through, ready to go. So 6 to 8 minutes, once they're nice and golden, I take one out, take the thickest one out that you can see, let it drain off, and we'll check it, alright? Just to make sure that we're not serving raw chicken to nobody or yourself. Alright, so just give it a nice little cut there, make sure your knife is nice and sharp, and so long as it's white all the way through, there's no pink, it's good to go, alright? So I know that that one's ready, so if that one's ready, then the rest of them are ready. As I said, that's the thickest one. So now, in the microwave, we've got a wrap with cheese, right? So we'll turn that on, melt the cheese just a little bit. You don't want to melt, you want to do the bread wrap by itself. You don't want to put the chicken in the microwave because the reason why we use the panko is because it makes it nice and crispy. So if you put it in the microwave, it's going to take the crispiness away, it's going to go soggy. So put the microwave on, put the bread wrap in, the cheese on the bread wrap, turn it on just for a short time, like 10 seconds or so. You don't want to put it in too long because then the bread wrap will go hard, right? So just 10 seconds, melt the cheese just a little tiny bit, and then the heat from the chicken will melt the rest of the cheese. So that cheese is nice, it's already good to go there. So these strips are really big, and that's the reason why I like to cut my own chicken strips from the chicken breast, because when you buy the thighs that are already cut, the mini fillets, again, minus the fact that they all look the same, they're not the same size as these, right? Obviously you can see that's nice and, it's a good size. So you only need 2 of those. That one's so big, I'm going to use a smaller one. So just grab 2 out, drain it off, get rid of that fat, you don't want it in your wrap, and overlay it a little bit, so it's like that. Then that ranch that we made earlier can sit in the fridge, and it's all good to go. You can just do it like this if you want to, or if you want to make it a buffalo chicken wrap, put a little bit of buffalo sauce in it, which I have here. I wouldn't fully douse them in because I told you in the first episode, I don't like to coat my wings in all the sauce because I want you to taste the chicken. So just put a little bit of buffalo sauce, I would say about a little bit under a tablespoon, yeah? But if you like the sauce, then you put as much as you want in. But the way we've seasoned the chicken, it's very flavoursome, and you don't want to kill that. Okay, just lost some of the flour there, but it's still in there, so it's fine. Alright, just a little nice bit of ranch. Now you can add things to this. Some people might want to add lettuce. Some people might want to add spinach. You can add tomato, avocado, whatever it is you like. This is a lot of food here though, so the more you add, you're going to go from lunch to a dinner. So if you want a light lunch, don't add too much. If you want a good, hearty, healthy dinner, then add as much as you want. Half an avocado to this would make this a good meal with maybe some fries or a bag of crisps or something like that. Alright, so once that's all in, make sure you wrap it up nice and tight. Tuck it all in like a burrito. Keep it nice and tight as you can. Get it all wrapped up. Then cut it at an angle. Especially if you're serving for somebody else, so that they can see what they're eating. Cut it at an angle. And to plate it, you want to put one on top of the other, and then to keep it tight, something through it to keep it together. Alright? And that's the buffalo and ranch slaw chicken wrap. Thanks for watching another episode, Cook with the Wing King. Please like, subscribe, share these videos. These are the beginning ones. Finding my feet, getting comfortable. Once I do get there, super comfy. I got way more stuff to show you. We're gonna go through things like feeding athletes, especially for parents, what you want to feed your kid if he's sports, if he's into athletics in school, what he needs to eat, what she needs to eat in order to be fueled. We're gonna go through that, and I've got something else in the pipeline which I don't want to get into yet. Just trust me on this. To find out what it is I'm talking about, subscribe, like, share, be patient on which one's coming up. Alright? Also, www.thewingkings.co.uk. Get your seasoning on there, and by the time this comes out, we'll be very close to our first 2 sauces that are coming out, which is honey barbecue sauce and barbecue sauce. Those will be out real soon, and then the next one after that will be hot pepper sauce to go with your chicken. Alright? Thank you guys very much.